Welcome to the Sans Science Experience video podcast. Before we dive into today's topic, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a breakthrough. All right, let's jump right in. We are tackling what is arguably the ultimate hypothesis in neurobiology today. I want you to imagine a brain that is severely damaged, literally choking on its own cellular debris, protein aggregates piling up everywhere, axonal swelling just taking over. Is that a point of no return? Or if we could somehow restart the brain's internal garbage disposal systems, can that incredibly complex neural circuitry actually bounce back? For decades, the field has been hyper-focused on merely trying to slow down neuronal deterioration. But today, we're breaking down a stunning piece of research that asks an incredibly ambitious question. Can we actually reverse it?
Now, to grasp the sheer scale of this, we've got to talk about autophagy. Think of it as the brain's microscopic recycling center. Technically speaking, autophagy is the major intracellular degradation process, where substrates, like misfolded proteins and damaged organelles, are selectively captured and delivered directly to lysosomes for enzymatic clearance. Why is this so absolutely crucial for us and our aging loved ones? Because neurons are long-lived postmitotic cells. They do not divide. They have exceptionally high metabolic demands, and they absolutely depend on this continuous recycling mechanism to survive their entire lifespan. If autophagy fails, the neuron is fundamentally compromised.
But how exactly do you test if a neuron can recover from that kind of catastrophic failure? Well, you'd need a way to literally turn autophagy off, let the damage accumulate, and then, crucially, turn it back on. Imagine being able to flip a switch in an aging brain to just reboot the system. That is exactly the groundbreaking molecular toolset the researchers engineered for this study. They didn't just knock out a gene permanently, they built a highly sophisticated, reversible, in vivo mouse model to toggle this fundamental biological process on and off completely at will.
The genetic engineering they pulled off here is just incredibly elegant. The researchers inserted a fast cassette precisely into the ATG101 gene. Now remember, ATG101 is the master key for autophagosome formation. Without it, the entire recycling center shuts down completely. By crossing these modified mice with transgenic mice expressing a specific transcriptional silencer, they created a living mammal where a master gene for autophagy is literally hooked up to a chemical dimmer switch. So how does this master biological switch actually operate over time? It all relies on a simple antibiotic, doxycycline, or Dox. Here is the core experimental timeline. Phase 1. The mice are given Dox, which binds the repressor, keeping the ATG101 gene active. Autophagy is on. Phase 2. Dox is completely removed from their diet. The repressor binds, ATG101 shuts down, and autophagy is suppressed for exactly 4 weeks. Finally, Phase 3. Dox is re-administered. The repressor releases, the gene fires right back up, and autophagy is rescued for another 4 weeks. This timeline right here is the crucible where neuronal resilience is put to the ultimate test.
Now things get dark in Phase 2. The Dox is removed. Autophagy goes offline. Inside those neurons, a highly precise and cascading failure begins. Without that cellular recycling machinery, the neuron becomes a hoarding ground for toxic biological waste. It's kind of like expecting a massive city to run smoothly when the sanitation workers have been on strike for a decade. The molecular landscape inside the brain begins to severely deteriorate. More than half of the mice in this state die within 5 weeks, and 100% are dead by week 10. The biological breakdown is absolute and it's catastrophic.
When you completely shut off ATG10, the data shows a massive, lethal accumulation of P62, a primary target that is supposed to be degraded. And it's not just P62. We see a drastic upregulation of endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi membrane proteins. The cell's internal transport and manufacturing centers are literally swelling with undegraded proteins. The entire proteomics map shifts radically, indicating a cell that is actively choking on its own structural components.
Synthesizing all this multi-omics data reveals the full terrifying scale of this molecular crisis. At the proteome layer, as we established, P62 and ER proteins build up to toxic levels. At the transcriptome layer, the cell is desperately trying to compensate. We see a frantic activation of genes trying to rebuild destabilizing proteins. But honestly, the metabolome tells the most desperate story of all. Autophagy isn't just about clearing waste, it's about recycling nutrients. With autophagy off, there's a severe depletion of essential amino acids like valine and leucine. The cell is literally starving for the basic building blocks of life.
But right here is where the story completely flips. What happens at that 4-week mark, right before the point of total systemic failure, when we reinitiate the Doxon phase
autophagy is suddenly rescued. The biological switch is flipped back. The cellular machinery kicks into overdrive. The massive question is, can a neuron on the absolute brink of death actually clear out this massive backlog of toxic waste and stabilize?
The answer, remarkably, is yes. The molecular bounce back is absolutely staggering. Once Dox is re-administered, cargo receptors rapidly clear out those dangerous inclusion bodies. The P60 levels plummet right back to baseline. The swollen ER and Golgi membrane proteins are successfully degraded. The proteome map miraculously mirrors its original healthy state, and the essential amino acid levels replenish. The molecular crisis is averted, proving an incredible latent elasticity and resilience at the biochemical level.
Now, it's one thing to see a proteome normalize on a scatter plot, right? But it's an entirely different thing to see what this genetic rescue does to a living, breathing organism. Let's transition from the molecular biology into the observable physical manifestations. Does fixing the microscopic machinery actually cure the macroscopic disease? This is where it gets incredibly exciting for anyone thinking about human medicine.
The behavioral data here is just astonishing. Take the limb clasping reflex. It's a classic sign of severe neurodegeneration where mice involuntarily pull their limbs inward. During the 4-week autophagy suppression, they developed this exact severe pathology. But after 4 weeks of rescue, this physically reversed. They extended their limbs normally again. And the Rotarod data, which measures motor coordination, is undeniable proof. The off-on group, whose scores completely plummeted as they lost motor function, showed a dramatic, undeniable restoration of motor capability once autophagy was turned back on. They didn't just stop getting worse, they actually got better.
To be absolutely sure this behavioral bounce back was specifically driven by neurological recovery, the researchers engineered a tissue-specific rescue using NEST and Cre, proving that turning autophagy back on purely in the brain was enough to restore motor function. But it wasn't just physical movement, it was cognition, the very traits that matter most when we talk about human cognitive decline. Using rigorous cognitive tests like the passive avoidance test for memory retention and the radial arm water maze for spatial learning, they proved that severe cognitive dysfunction was significantly reversed. The neural circuits were functionally restored.
So what is the ultimate takeaway here? This study establishes an entirely new paradigm of resilience. For years, the prevailing thought in neurology was that once severe intracellular quality control failure occurs and protein aggregates form, you can really only hope to slow the decline. This data proves that repairing the intracellular degradation pathways can actually reverse severe neurodegenerative pathology. The circuit architecture persists despite profound dysfunction, just waiting for the biological debris to be cleared out so it can fire normally again.
Which leaves us with a massive, provocative question for the future of neurobiology. We now know the mammalian brain possesses this latent resilience, but will the natural aging process or the prolonged timeline of chronic human diseases like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's constrain this window for functional recovery? Can we eventually develop therapeutics that toggle these exact quality control pathways in human patients to clear the debris and restore lost function? The implications are staggering. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you found this helpful.